All right, so get this. Today, we're going deep into the world of Eric Thrielkill.
Oh, I've heard the name.
Yeah, you familiar with him?
Definitely rings a bell. Healthcare tech, right?
Right, right. And, just from glancing at the emails, articles, meeting notes we've got, it seems like this guy's network is unbelievable.
Oh, wow. So we're talking connections, huh?
Big time, yeah. Like the kind of connections that could actually, change the game.
That's what I'm here for. Let's unpack it all.
Perfect. So I guess for starters, Thrielkill is definitely active in the healthcare tech space. That's a given.
Sure, sure.
Also hosts a podcast, which, we'll get to that later because it's pretty interesting in itself.
I bet. And didn't you say something about Nashville?
Oh, yeah. Super involved in Nashville's whole growth as a healthcare hub.
Nashville, huh? They're really making moves.
Seriously, yeah. And get this, he's even got international connections.
No kidding. So we're mapping out his network, who he's linked with, what they're all up to. This is exciting.
It is, right. Okay, so one of the sources mentions these Nashville healthcare sessions back in October 2024.
Okay, October 2024.
Yeah, seems like that's where Thrielkill connected or maybe reconnected with the person whose messages we're looking at.
Interesting. So the starting point of our little mystery.
Exactly. And then, get this, just a few months before that, July 2024, he's meeting up with John Grant.
John Grant.
Yeah, the former division president at AMS-ERG.
Whoa. That's a big name.
Huge, right? So clearly, Thrielkill is operating at a pretty high level.
AMS-ERG, I mean, one of the largest ambulatory surgery center providers, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what they were talking about.
A potential partnership, investment, who knows?
Totally. Okay, and then there's this agreement he finalized with the HLTH community.
The HLTH community, now that's interesting.
Right, so for anyone who's not in the know, they're kind of a big deal in health innovation.
Oh, yeah. Massive conferences, connecting startups with investors, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, so for Thrielkill to have, ink to deal with them is a little bit mysterious.
Definitely raises some eyebrows. A
Yeah.
speaking engagement, maybe? Launching something new?
Ooh, the plot thickens. All right, moving on. We see Thrielkill had meetings at LifePoint and CHS back in August 2024.
LifePoint, CHS. We're talking healthcare giants.
Right, LifePoint Health and Community Health Systems, yeah.
So he's definitely moving in the right circles.
For sure. But get this, Brent Dover was with him at these meetings.
Brent Dover. Who's that?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. He pops up a lot.
So another key player in this whole network, huh?
Seems like it, yeah. Okay, then there's Jody Amendola, head of Amendola Communications.
Amendola Communications, that's a big healthcare PR firm.
Yeah,
right.
exactly, yeah. And the sources say Thrielkill connected her with, the person sending these messages.
That's a strategic move.
Right. Like Amendola is all about shaping the narrative in healthcare.
So connecting her with someone suggests he sees potential, maybe wants to raise their profile.
Totally. And then there's this whole Bobby at Eline situation. You won't believe this.
Okay, hit me.
So Thrielkill was going to connect Bobby with someone,
Right.
but it turns out they already knew each other through Amendola Communications.
Wow, small world.
Right. Healthcare tech, everyone's connected.
It really is. It also shows just how interconnected Thrielkill's network is. Powerful position to be in.
Totally. Okay, next up, we've got Jeff Sturman, Chief Digital Officer, or CDO, at Memorial Healthcare System.
Another C-suite exec. This guy's network is impressive.
Right. And Thrielkill describes him as, and I quote, one of the only truly innovative CIO/CDO people in the industry.
He doesn't hand out praise lightly.
Not at all. And he wants to connect Sturman with, well, you know who, and even have them both on his podcast.
So he sees a potential collaboration there, maybe even a game-changing project.
You got it. It's like he's orchestrating these incredible partnerships.
Fascinating. It's not just about knowing people, it's about what those connections can lead to.
Okay, but hold on. We need to talk about this podcast because it seems like a key part of Thrielkill's whole network building strategy.
Okay, the podcast. Let's dive in.
So we know he interviewed, the person sending these messages, along with Brent Dover.
Brent Dover again. Interesting.
I know, right? Always there. Anyway, this was back in November 2024.
So fairly recent.
Yeah, and what I find fascinating is he's not just attending conferences, he's creating a platform for these conversations to happen.
Smart move. Amplifying the voices of people he finds interesting, influential, further strengthens his position.
Right. It's like he's building a brand, but also a whole community.
Exactly. And not just a small circle either. They talked about uploading this episode to YouTube.
Yeah. Wider audience, totally media savvy.
He gets it. Using digital platforms to his advantage, Brilliant.
Okay, but there's another layer to this whole network that we haven't even touched on.
Another layer. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Thrailkill's international work.
Right, right. He's not just a Nashville guy.
Nope. Global ambitions. Working with the Nashville Chamber to promote the city's healthcare ecosystem internationally.
So he's positioning Nashville as a global leader.
Exactly. Big implications for the city's economy, its place in healthcare tech.
I see. Big picture thinking.
And it's not just talk. He has a podcast with Will Morris from Ambience.
Will Morris. I think I've heard that name. International healthcare scene, right?
Yeah, pretty big deal. And get this, Thrailkill even wrote this whole article about his trip to Leeds in the UK.
Wow, this guy is everywhere.
I know, right? It's like he sees the future of healthcare as this, global interconnected system. And he's actively trying to shape it.
He's not just attending, he's writing, speaking, podcasting, connecting the dots globally.
So we've got this crazy complex web of connections, but what does it all mean?
That's the million-dollar question, the big picture.
And that's what we'll be exploring in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we've been looking at all these pieces, right?
Like a puzzle.
Totally, all these pieces of Eric Thrailkill's network.
So many pieces.
It is intricate, yeah, but I think we're starting to see some patterns,
Patterns? Okay, I'm intrigued. Like what?
Well, first off, just the sheer number of connections this guy has in Nashville
Right.
really highlights how important Nashville is becoming as a healthcare hub,
It's not just the big companies, though, right?
No, it's the people, the innovators, the entrepreneurs.
The ones Thrailkill is connecting.
Exactly, like a critical mass of talent all in one place.
And it's not just luck, right? It feels like Thrailkill is making this happen.
Yeah, he's orchestrating it. And that's where his international efforts come in, I think.
Okay, the international stuff.
He's not just building Nashville up, he wants to connect it to the world.
Global ambition.
Yeah, working with the Chamber, his podcast with Will Morris, it's all strategic.
So, Nashville, the Silicon Valley of healthcare.
It's ambitious, for sure.
Right,
But from what we see in his network, I don't think it's impossible.
He's creating the connections, the collaboration.
Building the infrastructure, yeah, for sure.
Okay, but let's step back for a second.
Okay.
Why should we care about all this? What does it mean for, the average person?
That's a good question. I think the answer is healthcare. It impacts everyone, right?
Of course.
And what's happening in Thrailkill's network, these innovations, they could change how we experience healthcare.
You're talking big changes.
Think telemedicine, personalized medicine, AI diagnostics, it's all happening.
And Thrailkill is right there in the middle of it.
He's at the forefront, absolutely.
So by understanding his network, we get a glimpse into the future of healthcare.
Exactly. We see what the big players are thinking, the problems they're trying to solve.
The opportunities, yeah.
It's not just gossip, it's about the future of healthcare for all of us.
I'm convinced. Okay, but can we get specific? Like, what kind of opportunities are we talking about?
All right, well, let's take Jeff Sturman. Remember him?
The CDO? Yeah.
Innovative guy, right. Thrailkill wants him to collaborate with, put them both on his podcast. What if that sparks an idea, a new platform, a new way to use AI?
So Thrailkill's not just connecting, he's creating a space for ideas to grow.
Exactly. An ecosystem of innovation.
And it's global, right? The international connections, the podcast with Will Morris.
It all points to a future where healthcare innovation, it doesn't stop at borders.
So if we want to see the future of healthcare, we follow Eric Thrailkill.
In a nutshell, yeah. But there's that one thing we keep coming back to.
Oh, you mean the HLTH agreement?
That's the big mystery, right? What is he up to with them?
It's been bugging me too. They're a big deal in healthcare innovation, so.
It has to be something significant.
A new venture fund. A huge conference. Who knows?
Knowing Thrailkill, it's probably something we haven't even thought of.
That's what makes it so exciting. He's a big thinker, not afraid to take risks.
All right, so we've got Nashville on the rise, a global network, a secret agreement. What now?
What's next? Yeah. Where do we go from here?
Well, I think we need to try and connect these different pieces, right?
Connect the dots.
Yeah. How does his Nashville work connect to the global stuff? How does the podcast fit in? And of course, the HLTH agreement, what's the deal there?
So many questions.
Huh.
We're running out of time, though.
Don't worry, we've got one more part to this deep dive.
Perfect. We'll tackle it all then, and maybe even uncover some new mysteries along the way. It's crazy, right? We've gone from this stack of emails and articles to this whole picture of Eric Thrailkill.
It is wild. I mean, mapping out his network, it's like trying to chart a constellation.
A constellation, I like that.
So many stars, and they're all connected. It's fascinating.
It really is. And it really shows you the power of collaboration.
Absolutely. He's not just building his own network.
Right.
He's creating a space for like a whole ecosystem of innovation to grow.
And I think what's really cool is it's not just about him, He's helping other people.
Totally. Elevating them, connecting them, giving them a platform.
It's pretty inspiring, actually.
It is, yeah. It reminds me that, we can all play a part in shaping the future.
Even if we don't have, Thrailkill's Rolodex.
That's exactly right.
Okay, but let's be real. Most of us don't have a podcast, a global network. Definitely not a direct line to the HLTH community.
Right. So what's the takeaway for the rest of us?
Yeah, what can we learn from Thrailkill? About networking, about innovation, all of that.
I think the biggest thing is being intentional, with your connection.
Intentional, okay.
He doesn't just collect business cards. He looks for people doing interesting things.
People who are pushing boundaries, yeah.
Exactly. People who inspire him.
So it's about quality over quantity.
Absolutely. And it's also about, different perspectives.
Different perspectives, right.
Thrillkill's network isn't just CEOs. It's journalists, PR people, tech innovators.
International people, too.
It's diverse, a mix of skills and experiences.
And that's probably why he can spot those opportunities.
I think so, yeah. He's seen healthcare from all these different angles.
And he's not afraid to, take risks.
No, not at all. Step outside his comfort zone, explore new ideas.
Remember that article about his trip to Leeds?
Oh, yeah, the UK.
He wasn't just sightseeing, he was learning from the international healthcare community.
Bringing those ideas back to Nashville.
So it's not just networking, it's being a learner.
Always curious, yeah.
Always looking for those connections.
Well, we can't forget about technology either.
A podcast, right.
Exactly. A perfect example of how, digital platforms can amplify voices, build relationships.
He's creating his own space for those conversations.
Yeah, a virtual town square for healthcare innovation.
And he's invited everyone.
Literally the whole world.
Okay, before we wrap up,
Yeah.
we got to talk about the HLTH agreement.
The elephant in the room.
We've talked and talked, but we still don't know.
The big mystery.
It's frustrating, but also kind of exciting, right?
I think so, yeah. Some questions just stay unanswered.
And that's okay.
It keeps us wondering, keeps us exploring, keeps us digging deeper.
So, to everyone listening out there,
Yeah.
do your own digging.
Yeah.
See what you can find about this HLTH agreement.
Maybe you'll find something we missed.
Check out his podcast. Look at his connections. See what's happening in healthcare tech.
It's a constantly changing landscape.
That's the fun part. There's always more to discover.
A deep dive never really ends.
So until next time, keep your eyes open, stay curious, and who knows where your own connections might lead you.